Hey everybody, it's Miss Lassiter. We are going to still be working with fractions, but we are going to move on to multiplication. And I just want to do a quick review of the concept of multiplication. Up here I have a 3 by 5 matrix of blue circles. And I want you to see that when we think of multiplication, when we do 3 times 5, we're thinking of 3 groups of 5. And so you can see them here when 1, 2, 3 groups of 5 gives you 5, 10, 15. You can also look at it as 5 groups of 3. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So either way, you are coming up with the total of 15, and that's a property of multiplication that we call commutative. So it'll also be commutative if we're multiplying fractions. So the first fraction multiplication I want to look at is 1/2 times 4/5. I want you to think of that both of these fractions are proper fractions, so they're less than a whole. So I'm taking a part of 1 whole. So my answer is going to be less than 1 whole. I conveniently chose a 2 by 5 rectangle because of the 2 and the 5 in my denominators. So this is asking me for half of 4/5. So I am going to first shade 4/5, and by shading I'm going to just put a check mark in 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, 4 of my 5 columns. And now of what I have shaded, I am going to circle half of them. And since I have 8 checks, I am going to circle 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And those that are circled and checks would represent the answer to this problem, which is a total of 4 out of the 10 sections in my whole picture. And 4/10 can be simplified. If I divide both of them by 2, I get 2/5. I'd also like to look at, because it's commutative, you could do the same problem. I'm going to draw another 2 by 5 rectangle, and I am going to mark half of it with blue checks. And then of the half that I have marked, I want to circle 4 of the 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 5. And again, I've come up that I have the ones that are circled and checked is 4 out of 10, which is 2/5. Next, we're going to look at, we're not always going to draw pictures when we're doing multiplication. The nicest thing about multiplication is that we don't have to have common denominators like we did for addition and subtraction. I just multiply straight across, and so I get 1 times 4 in my numerator and 2 times 5 in my denominator. So I have 4/10, which reduces to 2/5. It's important that you finish by reducing it to the final form, because that's what we consider our final answer. However, on the front end, I want you to see that the 4 and the 1 are multiplication, and the 2 and the 5 are division. So we can look for a common factor in any numerator and any denominator. So if I look here, I see that there's a 4 and a 2, which have a common factor of 2. So I divide both by 2, and my 4 divided by 2 is 2, my 2 divided by 2 is 1. And then I multiply straight across, and I have 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 5 is 5, and I get the same final answer. So you can either simplify at the end, or you could try to take out some of the common factors in the beginning, and it makes your work nicer in the end. Let's look at another example. Let's do 3/4 times, let's do 14/18. Now, I could multiply straight across, and I would 3 times 4 is 14 is 42. 4 times 18 is 72. And then I could reduce. I could divide both by 2. I get 21 over 36. And then I can note those are both divisible by 3. I divide both by 3 and I get 7/12. That's very much a final answer because there's no common factors. But in the beginning, if I rewrite the same problem, 3/4 times 14/18, I can look for common factors. I can say, oh, well, 14 and 18 are both even, so I may as well divide those by 2 and I get 7/9. And then I can say, oh, 3 and 9. They both have a factor of 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And then when I multiply straight across, I have 1 times 7 is 7. And 4 times 3 is 12. So I personally think this is easier to take out bigger factors in the beginning, and then I just get my final answer. But it's your choice. Any way you do it, you end up with the same final answer. So what I would like you to do now is I would like you to try these 4 problems. Just do them on a scratch piece of paper or a piece of paper and bring them with you to class tomorrow, and we will discuss how you're doing with it. Thanks.